It's very important to understand right now that the cost of driving and the cost of owning a motor vehicle is dramatically increasing. It's all part of this net zero thing that they want to force down everybody's throats, which is ultimately going to cost this country millions. It's going to cost this country productivity, and it's going to make people a lot poorer. That's my opinion. And if you do your research, you can see there is evidence to back up that opinion. And I'm not alone. If you feel like that, subscribe to the channel. Well, the title of this video was I Will Refuse This. I think it was yesterday or the day before, I brought you a video about what they're talking about in London with regard to the structure and makeup of the charging systems there. At the moment, you've got ULEZ, low emission zone, congestion charge, and then talking about introducing a toll for the new Silvertown tunnel when it becomes operational, and also the Blackwall tunnel. So that is 5 separate charges in London. And what Sadiq Khan is talking about is simplifying that system to just have one charge. And they're currently talking about working with a private company to do just that. The technology supposedly doesn't exist just yet, but rest assured it will do, because they're actively talking about it. To put this into some context, because we all worry about going down the paper mile route, this is what Sadiq said, and he said it repeatedly: as long as I am mayor, we're not going to have paper mile, he told the London Assembly at a mayor's question time session. So remember that, as long as I am mayor, we're not going to have paper mile. Now, I don't believe him. I'm sorry to say, and I'm sure I'm not alone. Do you believe him? Let me know in the comments. Well, what about paper mile? How would it work? Me personally, I don't want no part of it. Anywhere that tries to introduce that kind of system, I'll go the other way. That's where this is going. But some of the research I've done on this, and I thank the person who sent me this article, it's very intrusive in what it looks like. I mean, some of this, the idea is just one of several suggestions outlined by the Campaign for Better Transport, who've been looking into how a paper mile charge could work. Sylvia Barrett, Director of Policy and Campaigns, explained drivers can be charged more during peak times or in more congested areas, but that would require the system knowing where you're driving and at what time. So it's like congestion pricing, isn't it? Or the whole supply and demand thing. So when you're in a more demanding scenario, a more demanding situation, you will be charged more just for driving. So how's that going to work? Well, have a look at this. A new paper mile car tax system could see tracking devices installed in cars with data collected on where drivers travel and when. Experts warn information could eventually be gathered through a plug-in device or directly through vehicle telematics. The increase in data means motorists could pay different tax fees based on when vehicles are used, with higher fees for those travelling during rush hour. So basically, if you're going to drive your car, it's either a plug-in device, no thank you, or via telematics. Now, there's one important thing to note. They're trying to rush everybody down the route of electric vehicles. A lot of electric vehicles nowadays, like Teslas, for example, have modern telematics where the driver wouldn't need to do anything. They could just interrogate and therefore get the information they require without your consent, I suppose. So you could imagine all this network together and all going that way. It's a bit like mission creep, and I can see it coming a mile off. It would require some form of tracking that can be done as a plug-in device or can be done through telematics, as we've understood. The Campaign for Better Transport has suggested a 2p per kilometre fee should be introduced for electric vehicles. They claim this would make up for lost fuel duty revenue, as most tourists make the transition away from petrol and diesel models. By comparison, campaigners claim fuel duty costs work out at a sound 4 to 6p per kilometre, depending on the fuel consumption in the vehicle. However, tracking devices are not the only way a system could work, with other non-intrusive measures being looked into. Now, the other non-intrusive measures that are being looked into, and I've seen this, it's trusting the driver to make a note of the reading on their odometer and submitting it, or taking a picture and uploading it to a website. Can you imagine that? I can't see anybody playing ball with that idea at all. It's a bit like reading your meter for your gas and electric every month. Complete and utter, well, hogwash, to be quite honest with you. Now, how many people actually agree with this idea? Let me know if you do in the comments. Bear in mind, this isn't imminently going to happen. I believe this is the direction of travel from everything I've read and everything I've seen, but it's not imminently going to happen. These are discussed ideas, okay? Discussed ideas only at this stage. But have a look at this. It can be your annual MOT, it can be monthly, it can be an online where drivers submit a snapshot. With modern cars, we're talking about EVs, they'll have onboard telematics. So if it's possible, this is just recorded directly from the vehicle telematics, so drivers don't need to do anything. They just get the monthly bill based on mileage, so it doesn't even require any additional technology. A recent poll, this is the thing, this is a laughable thing, for the Campaign for Better Transport, found a staggering 49% of respondents supported the idea. 49%. Now, what I would like to know, and it's the same with any survey out there, how many were actually surveyed? Were they handpicked, or was it just a very small number of respondents? And it was 49% of that small pool said, we're for it. Therefore, they assume that that is the opinion of the rest of the country. That seems to be what happens with these surveys, time in, time out, time and again. Now, they mention saving over road tax. I do believe that you would still have to tax your vehicle and pay per mile. I think it would be double bubble. If I end up being wrong on that, then I'll come on here and I will say so. But I do believe that's the direction of travel. Fuel duty, replacing what? Lost fuel duty revenue. You know, I don't know where these people go. All right, the more EVs there are on the road, the less fuel duty there'll be. But how many, literally millions of cars are there out there? It's just hogwash. It comes across as hogwash, and unless you've got more and more people on side, I can't see it ever working without some kind of big uproar. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see another one of my videos, one should have popped up just there. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.